Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope that you all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I am here today with Daniel from Billy T Cattan Recovery Center, and we're going to be talking about Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
And this is coming up on Friday.
It's Friday. It's
7
Friday.
p.m. at
Yes.
the Leo J Welder Center. Awesome.
Yes.
And this is an annual event, and this year is your eighth annual event. Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
Daniel, thank you so
Yes,
much
absolutely.
for coming to
Thank
the
you
show.
for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I would like to talk, I want to start a little bit with Billy T Cattan, the man himself.
Okay.
How long have you been at the Recovery Center?
I've been there since June of 2014.
Since June of 2014.
Correct.
And did you meet Mr. Cattan?
I didn't. Unfortunately, didn't get to meet him. I've heard a lot about him just in the community and from Susan, kind of in conversations with her, but I didn't get to meet him, but I know he left a great legacy.
Well, tell me a little bit about that legacy.
Okay. So Billy T Cattan was a community member here in Victoria.
Yes.
Very active in the community, actually. Was a big sports guy. He loved to play baseball, softball, and be involved in that. Liked to mentor people. And he also had an addiction years before that. And got help for his addiction and was in recovery. And a few years down the road, he got cancer, liver cancer, and that cancer unfortunately got the best of him and passed away. And so in 1999, Susan Cattan Reebok now got together with some other community members, some ministers, a few attorneys, and other people in the community, and formed the Billy T Cattan Recovery Outreach Center, which has been an awesome part in the community since then, doing faith-based substance abuse treatment.
Right, for substance abuse.
Correct.
And what about for someone who is working through an addiction? What does having a nonprofit like Billy T Cattan Recovery Center mean to them?
It's really a big deal, especially being in the community that we're at, and we're in a rural area, of course, and access to treatment can be difficult. We have a lot of people who aren't able to travel to residential treatment centers that are, the closest one is in Corpus. And so those who are able to come to us, that they're able to get those services that they need. We are a nonprofit, so we receive state funding, and so individuals who are not able to pay for their services and they meet financial eligibility, they're able to pay for those services. The state reimburses us for their services.
Right. Well, tell me about the services that Billy T Cattan provides for the community.
So we do outpatient treatment, adult treatment. That means that we serve individuals 18 and up who have a diagnosis of substance abuse disorder. And that, of course, varies from drug to drug. It can be alcohol, it can be marijuana, it can be opiates. We hear a lot about opiates nowadays across the nation. And so if they meet one of those disorders, then we admit them into our program. Our program is a 90-day program, which means that they're there for about 3 months. Typically, there's some individuals
at the
still
facility itself?
At our facility, yeah, it's outpatient, so they come and go. We do individual counseling during the day, and we have our groups in the evenings from 5 to 7.
Right. So what about Victoria as a whole, or our community as a whole? What do you see that we are, what is the most need? What are some of the strongest addictions in our community?
Methamphetamine.
Methamphetamines.
Yes, methamphetamines. I think being our proximity to Mexico and being in the crossroads, as we call it, we see a lot of drugs coming through Victoria, and methamphetamine is one of the biggest drug right now that we're seeing in our admissions. Right,
admissions. And nationwide?
Nationwide, of course, it's the opiates.
Right.
The opioids is the big crisis at the moment. But at the center, we really haven't seen it. We haven't seen that here. And talking to other colleagues around the state, all the way up to San Angelo, I have a good friend of mine that's a CEO there of a residential and outpatient treatment center. And they're saying the same thing. Methamphetamines is their number one admissions.
What about for someone who, has an addiction? No, I know that I understand how important and vital the center is for addicts in our community. But what about for someone who is struggling? What would be their first call to you? What would be their first step?
The first step is the call, like you mentioned. We have counselors available to talk to anybody who has questions about an addiction or how to get help. A lot of times people don't know where to go or what to do or what's the process. And we're familiar with all that. We know exactly what we can do for somebody, how to get them help if they need detox, if they need to come off a drug, or if they need residential services, we're able to do that. Or if somebody just wants to call and just ask questions, and for a family member or a friend, or we all know. I think that statistics say there's 9 out of 10 people know somebody who has an addiction, and so we're there to help. And
wow, that's really strong.
That's
9
really strong.
out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 people know someone who has an addiction.
now.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, either their friend or family member or somebody.
What about for a family member or for a friend who might see that they have a family member or a friend who's in need? What advice do you have for them?
They need to. I would say that for them to reach out. There's help out there.
Right.
We're always available to talk to somebody, like I said, and just let them know what's available out there.
Right.
Maybe it's not our center that can help them because maybe they need a higher level of service.
Right.
But we have, like I said, we have different colleagues around the state that we're able to get in contact with and see if we can help them out.
So I'm going to ask you something kind of from a mom perspective, right?
Right.
Because I'm not familiar with the methamphetamine, what it looks like, on someone who's an addict. What are some signs?
So methamphetamine it's like speed.
Right.
And so some of the signs that we see is a lot of weight loss.
Okay.
We see
so
weight loss
is going to be
one.
something. Okay.
Right. Is a physical sign that you can see. Then also, of course, you start, for those who are heavier into addiction, you start seeing some problems in their dental capacity. They have different issues with their teeth, and then just the physical look on themselves is what you're going to see the most.
Yeah, I've seen something like that, some sort of presentation where it was like faces of methamphetamine.
Yeah, and you'll see that. Yeah.
But I just wondered, okay, so what was going on in the very beginning? What were some signs in the very beginning before you start seeing the dental damage and the so you're looking for weight loss. What about behavior?
Looking for weight loss. Behavior, if it's somebody that's maybe they start isolating themselves from their peers or friends or family members. A lot of addictions start small. They start using a drug and then it kind of just escalates as time goes on. And so, some of those typical behaviors of maybe acting out or starting some isolation, the drug starts to take over little by little, and they start to withdraw from their normal activities.
Why do you think methamphetamine is running so rampant now in communities, not just ours but nationwide? Is it easily accessible? I don't really
Well, it is easily accessible, but it's cheaper to produce.
So it's an inexpensive drug.
It's an inexpensive drug. We used to see where methamphetamine usually was done in the rural areas out in the country somewhere. They were cooking meth or doing that. But now we're just seeing there's just so much of it now that typically it's not what's happening anymore. They're just grabbing it from, like I said, from the drugs that are coming in from Mexico.
What does it take to provide these services for people with addiction?
You mean as far as what does it take for our center?
for your center?
Well, it's a challenge. In drug treatment, especially being a nonprofit, outpatient treatment services are a lot cheaper versus residential services. So what that means for us is, the state reimburses us at a lower rate of what it actually costs us to provide the treatment, and so that's where we rely heavily on fundraisers. And Dancing with the Stars has been a really good fundraiser for us to help offset some of those costs. But there's other things that we have to do, and we have to. United Way is a big part of our organization as well.
Right.
I have to write several foundations. So there's a lot of different things that we have to do to make the organization work and keep our doors open, and that's why we're that fundraiser is so important to us.
What about for you spiritually? What about working in this particular center, in Billy T Cattan Recovery Center? But I'm just saying, as an executive director,
correct.
Knowing that you're kind of the CEO of things, what moved you to want to be a part of the Billy T Cattan Recovery Center?
Well, I feel that God was leading me here. I've always been a spiritual person since I was, at a young age. And I think that God was preparing me for this organization, to be a part of this organization. I joined the organization about almost 5 years ago now. And I just felt that that's where I was supposed to be. I like to help people and be there for people to give them that, the help that they need when they're at their worst, because everybody deserves to be helped and to be given a second chance. I was given second chances for a lot of different things, and I feel that that's an important part of being in the organization as well. And we have great staff, that are spiritual as well. Our board members have been awesome. We have a great board of directors that feel the same way. And I just feel that this is where I'm supposed to be.
That's incredible. So shifting gears, in the 5 years that you've been there, have you ever actually participated?
I haven't participated yet. I would like to. I know one day, of course, the event we may have to shift to something else, and just because we like to change things up in the communities. But I would like to be a part of it at least one time.
8 years really says a lot about it being successful.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
it really
I've
does.
had so many friends who have participated, who have joined because they were moved, spiritually, emotionally. Again, if you are looking at the statistic of 9 out of 10, people know someone who has struggled with addiction.
Correct.
It really affects most of us.
It does. It really does.
And how I thought it was really incredible that the friends that I had that participated were certainly just moved by the mission of what the Billy T Cattan Recovery Center does for our community. Right.
So, and we are, if people have never used our services, they may not know exactly what we do. Right. And so that's another thing that we would like to try to do moving forward. Right. I have some things planned as far as maybe some town hall meetings, just to educate, and be aware of what's in our community and how people can get help.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a town hall meeting.
Absolutely.
Got a minute. No, we've got a minute.
Okay.
So tell me what would you say?
Well, we're looking to do something probably in August. Sometime we're going to have a presenter come in and talk about a specific topic. And then I want to have a panel of maybe 5 or 6 different professionals in the field, me included in the panel, and just take questions from the audience that attend the town hall. Like I said, I think there's a lot of things out there that people don't understand about addiction, as well as how to get help, which is the most important part.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. I want you to give me 3 things that most people do not know about addiction. Okay.
One is, I think, is the stigma. The stigma has always been around for people. They think that individuals who have addictions are those individuals who, we may see on the street corner somewhere, who just don't have lack of willpower, as they say, which is definitely not the case. That's a myth. The second thing is just how to access treatment. How do we get help? I mean, you asked some of those questions earlier. Right. How do we get help? Who's out there to help us? Do I have to have insurance? I don't have any money. How do I access services?
So can you access services without any money?
You can. At Billy T, you can.
Right.
We do, like I said, we have state-funded services. So there's some individuals that depending on their status and financial status, there's not any money that they're paying out of their pocket. Because the state wants people to get well and to work and to be productive. And so that's what we want also.
And then that third thing.
The third thing is, I would have to say, and ask me the question again.
3 things that most people don't know about recovery, or about addiction. About addiction?
Yes. Okay. Well, and they just stick with recovery. I think that most people don't know that Victoria does have a big recovery community. Right. And so we want to make sure that people understand that and what that means to people as far as having recovery in your community.
That's awesome. And I want to kind of go back to the willpower thing.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I've seen over the years, and I would maybe just have an open discussion about this, is that I think that the biggest myth that I see in my community of understanding is you should have the willpower. And people do not understand the strength of an addiction and how it binds. And that to me is always just so fascinating, that you can have 9 out of 10 people that you know someone that's in addiction.
Right.
And someone just think that it's just simply the willpower.
Right. And it's not, there's so many other
Because
things.
if that was it, just the magic of, I just want to stop.
Right.
How we would not have what we have if we could just say that. I
Absolutely.
don't know how many addicts I've interviewed or been with in my lifetime of biography that really, really want to change.
Absolutely.
Genuinely want to change and just don't know how.
Exactly. Most people that have an addiction want to change.
Right.
They want to get better.
Right.
Just like those individuals who smoke. You know, we offer a nicotine replacement therapy program at our center, which is one of the few around in the centers, in the substance abuse centers. And most people want to quit smoking.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That you guys have that. Oh,
We
that's
do.
really
We do.
interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
We became a part of that when we moved into our new facility last April, and joined forces with MD Anderson out of in Houston, and the University of Houston and Integral Care, and they were targeting substance abuse centers because substance abuse centers have a high rate of individuals who use tobacco, whether it be smokeless tobacco or a cigarette. And so, we all know that, that increases your chances of acquiring different things, cancer being one of them, of course. And so they wanted it to help out treatment centers. And so we jumped on board, and we've had some really great success actually with our program. And they've even published a journal article on us
Really?
on the success that we've had, that'll be presented, I think, in September in Washington. So little old Victoria and little old Billy T Cattan Recovery Outreach.
I love that.
We'll be out there, and they're using one of the videos that they did on us, because they interviewed myself and some of our staff, as well as some of the individuals who are using the products. And that video is being used as a training video around the country as they're doing this program.
Wow, that's incredible.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's just another example that people want help.
Right.
We just need to be able to help them.
How many people do you treat in the community? Can you answer that?
Absolutely. So in 2018, we had 495 admissions.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a high number, especially for an outpatient program. Most outpatient programs that you see around the state may have in the 200 range, because typically other communities have other pieces of the treatment. They have residential, they have detox, they kind of have a continuum of services, where in Victoria, we just have our outpatient center.
Right, you just have that
Right,
center. But
right. So we get a lot of people.
Center.
Absolutely.
How grateful we are for that center.
Absolutely.
So tell me, okay, let's go back to Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
All right, so I know you can't be biased, but you said you really are, you really do love this particular event. I mean, I know that you love all of the Dancing with the Stars. So I'm saying you're this has a good vibe. So tell me about this vibe.
These individuals that we see here have been absolutely great. They've done awesome fundraising, because one of the jobs that they do, that they have when they sign up to participate, is to raise funds.
Yes.
Because this is obviously a fundraiser.
Right.
And
so I want to restate that. So all of the people that you see here that are asking for your support on Friday, they have, as individuals, believed enough in this organization to go out and raise funds themselves.
Absolutely.
Which I think is phenomenal. I really wanted to make sure that we pointed that out.
They've given a lot of their time. I mean, you think about all the volunteer hours that they've put in rehearsing.
Right.
I mean, we're talking a lot of hours.
I know.
So.
One of my girlfriends is rehearsal was grueling. It was grueling.
It was grueling.
But she had fun.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time. But without them, without the past 7 events that we've had, and all the people that have been a part of that, we wouldn't have had those extra funds. I mean, it just wouldn't happen. And so for them to do that, they're out there asking for votes, which basically they're asking for donations.
Sure.
That's basically what they're doing.
Good.
And so whoever raises, we have the Mirror Ball Trophy, which is the one that we've given out since the very beginning.
Yes.
And
I'm aware of that one.
it goes out to the person, it goes out to the couple, I should say, that raises the most funds, basically.
How can we vote for them?
Well, there's 2 different ways.
Okay.
Right now you can vote online, and we have that set up through our webpage and through our Facebook account. You can go on there, and we have a way that you can go on there and vote for whoever you would like to vote for. But then the second way is to show up.
That's right.
May 31st. on Friday, and we'll be voting that day as well.
I heard something the other day you might think is interesting because I'm really stuck on this mantra. Someone said, you can fake caring, but you can't fake showing up.
Right.
And I thought that was really incredible, and really as a servant makes me feel like I got to start showing up more. And really, you know, I've been to several,
Right.
And so, and I'm hoping to go this Friday.
Awesome.
But I'm just saying that in general, like
Yes.
the importance of our community showing up to things, because I recognize that people probably very much care about our community's addictions and the resources. And again, that statistic, that 9 out of 10, but most important would be to vote and to show up.
Absolutely. And
So can we shout out really quick to Kim Stanfield and Alex
Figueroa.
and then Lisa.
Where's Lisa? Oh, Linda. That's Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Linda Sue and Kyle Rhodes.
And Kyle Rhodes. All right, Morgan and Zachary Petrash.
Petrash.
Yeah.
Then we have Haley Clausen, our local news station anchor in the mornings.
Aaron, and
Corbell.
Kim and Mark Alvarez, and then Bertha and Michael Martinez.
Yes.
That is awesome, you guys. So I wanted to make sure to shout out to them.
Absolutely.
To thank them again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For the time. Is there anything that we haven't covered? Is there anything you wanted to add?
I just would like to say that thank Victoria for their support over the years. You know, in November we're going to celebrate our 20th year.
That's
Billy T Cattan is going to start their 20th year, and we've come a long way. You know, when we first started, the organization had one person, and that person did the counseling and did everything.
Right.
And since then we've come a long way, adding different programs and adding staff and last year, like I said, we moved into our own building, which has been great for us.
Yeah.
It's given us a face, if you will, in the community. So I just want to thank Victoria for their support. Thank the people for voting all these years and donating to the organization, because Victoria is a very caring community, and
We are blessed.
we are very blessed. And I mean, that we're just one of the many nonprofits here in town, and I know that the other nonprofits are supported as well. And so that just shows a lot for Victoria and caring about the community.
Absolutely. Well, I do also thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And I very much look forward to watching to see who wins. And
Yes, that'll be
how
fun.
this, cycle continues.
Yes.
So at
Absolutely.
least do 10 years.
Yes, at least 10 years.
2 more years. 2 more years.
2 more years.
So, I remember Susan first putting this together, and I just thought it was such a lovely idea.
It was
such
an
a great
awesome idea.
concept.
Yeah. We owe it to her for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Ingrid.
joining me.
Absolutely.
And thank you all so much for watching Southbridge Street Live.